The NFL stands for not for long.
Set, Sharga and Armstead. Roll out, Walker still running out. Looks to the left, wide open, Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards of
a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofting corner, the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Colin Thompson Show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. That's Jack Connell. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
Doing splendid. Just getting ready for the football season. I'm just probably the hardest working person between the two of us in the month of August. It's a grind, man. You wouldn't understand the grind of getting ready for football season.
I know you work hard, but it's all good, man. It's all good. This is an awesome place to work. First class. It's really, really special place. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks to everyone who's been following our shows the last couple of weeks. Obviously, there've been more, down the line, pre-recorded interviews, and we'll still have them. We're going to release them all through the fall. Obviously, I have a little bit more attention on the football now, so a little bit less on the media company side of things, especially when it comes to recording and interviews and this. But Jack and I still like to get on here and chop it up. It is the off day for us. We are getting ready for joint practices Wednesday and Thursday against the Tennessee Titans, and then a game Saturday against the Titans. So I digress. This is the Colin Thompson Show, brought to you by Not For Long Media, and then our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. Stick, away from the normal gifts and reach out to Fudge Kitchen. If you're down the shore, all their shore points from Ocean City all the way down to Cape May, multiple locations in OC and Cape May. And then get yourself a box of fudge for a friend or a birthday or whatever. Celebrating somebody instead of, some flowers that are going to die in a week, Jack, or something like that. Get some fudge. You're more bang for your buck. So shout out to the Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. Jack, it's great to be here. We have Mike Dogbe coming on the show today. Mike and I played together at Temple. Mike was drafted in the late rounds, I believe 7th round. We talked about on the show, to the Arizona Cardinals. He was there for his entirety of his rookie contract. And then he moves over to Jacksonville this year, a team that obviously had a great season last year, looking to mimic that and more this year down in DUVAL. So I think you'll love Dogbe. It's amazing, too. Like, Mike was so open and honest, and he's always just been like this big, quiet, kind of the strongest guy I've ever played with, weight room-wise for sure, and a strong football player as well. But he's always been soft-spoken and quiet and reserved. And I was a little nervous for the show. I'm like, Mike's the greatest guy in the world, but I was wondering how open he was going to be. And Mike just opened up, and was great conversation after one of his workouts leading up to training camp there. So I think you'll enjoy Mike Dogbe. But before we do, Jack and I are going to chop it up, talk about what's going on. Jack said he had something for me here first. What do you got, Jack? I can't wait to hear this one. The Sixers, James Harden.
So, Colin, I don't know if you pay attention, but last night, I guess midnight this morning, Madden 2024 came out. So last year we did this. We had you guess your Madden 23 rating, bringing it back this year. Can you guess what your Madden 2024 rating is?
Wow. I'm in the game. Wow. Okay.
Photo and all. They didn't even stick like a blank photo. They got your photo in here.
Can I guess my Madden rating?
Yeah, that's what I said. So I said guess your rating.
61.
58.
Oh.
We went down a rating. Can you guess what your highest? I won't count like injury and stuff because that stuff's always high. Your highest graded like attribute that's actually meaningful. So like durability, like strength, like that strength would count, but durability, like that stuff doesn't count.
It's probably something random that's not true. Speed.
Close. Acceleration.
How is my...
You got a 78 acceleration.
Okay.
71 speed.
Okay.
You have 72 strength. I just have a screenshot. I could go through the rest at a later time, but that is your Madden. I'll have to pull... I get the Madden game in about 3 days with part of my subscription. So I'll pull the face scan and I'll let you see that later this week / next week.
Oh,
I don't have that available yet.
I went down a ranking. Man, that stinks. Yeah. Hey, listen, that's a part of it. That's a part of it. I think my highest was a 70 overall, which
That's pretty.
was
That's
good.
pretty solid.
That's solid. I think that one year someone was like, "Hey, dude, you're a 70." I was playing a lot. 2020 season.
You always have tight end number 84 to hang your hat on from NCAA 14.
I hope that game never. I hope they never make another game because I will be the greatest tight end in the world in the history of that video game at Florida. Tight end 84 won the MACU award every year. I wish I had even 1% of the success that gentleman has in that video game at the University of Florida. I'm rocking a Gator shirt today too. Never caught a ball. I probably played 40 snaps there in my career, and that was it. So I digress. That's good stuff out of you, Jack, as always. Guys, I haven't done a bar of the week in a while, and haven't been at many bars. I've been on training and at training camp. Was forced on the off day to go visit, my dad and my uncle. We were going to the Twins game before. They wanted to have a couple beers, so we swung into Tom's Watch Bar, the bar of the week this week, brought to you by the original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country, fudgekitchens.com. Tom's Watch Bar, downtown Minneapolis. Listen, Amanda and the staff there are amazing. The food was fantastic. The service was fantastic. Everything was just, you can't beat it. Their Nashville hot wings were incredible. I just had a couple snacks. I didn't have a full meal because we were going to the game and I want to get a bite at the game. But their TVs are the best TV situation I've ever been to. Period. They literally have a bracket made for this massive TV that's the size of a normal bar. And that's how big the bracket is to hold up these TVs. So it's incredible. And it's a really cool vibe. So Tom's Watch Bar, service 5 out of 5. The food was a 4 out of 5. The TVs are a 5 out of 5. I didn't have a beer, but the beer was not a nice, so we know that rule here. It's a 4 out of 5 on that. So 18 out of 20 for Tom's Watch Bar, an elite, good time, cool bar to watch sports, enjoy, camaraderie, you name it. Tom's Watch Bar, downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. The bar of the week this week on the Colin Thompson Show. So cool stuff from them. Jack, what else? I sent you some fun things.
We talk about Teddy Bridgewater having to revert to lineman numbers because of the uniform rule switch. He looks like rookie year Mac Jones out there.
Have we seen pictures?
If you remember that. I have not. I don't know if they're actually. I don't think he's
Teddy
even worn it yet. He's embracing it.
Breaking news: Teddy Bridgewater is wearing 50, folks. 50. Teddy Bridgewater, former first-round pick quarterback, Viking, really good, solid NFL quarterback for a long period of time. Whatever it was, Teddy's good. And I played with him, caught a touchdown pass from him. That was really life-changing. So I have a ton of respect for Teddy. 50. I love that. That's breaking news. Listen to this, Jack. I sent you this tweet from Front Office Sports. I can't name the gentleman's name, but let's see. Arnie Fredericksburg plays soccer in the Faroe Islands. His club is a semi-pro team, and he sells frozen pizza wholesale as his day job. Right now, Fredericksburg is leading the UEFA Champions League. Okay? The biggest club tournament in the world. He's leading them in points, scoring. This is a guy who sells frozen pizza every day. And that's the coolest part about playing soccer overseas, football as they call it, because some of these guys in these leagues, right, they're just, we see it with Wrexham, right? They work a 9 to 5 and then they play soccer, right? They're mechanics, they're entrepreneurs, they're whatever it may be, getting by, paying bills, and then they're playing pro soccer, and they may end up playing like Manchester City in like a friendly match where these guys are making $1 million a game and this guy's making $100 and he gets pizza after the game. So I thought that was a really cool thing. And did you see the Saints rookie kicker, Jack, hit a walk-off game winner? Unbelievable.
I didn't see the game. I did not see it.
So security checked him going into the stadium, going onto the field, and leaving the building after he hit a game winner. Quoting that they had no idea who the guy was, okay, and thought he was step one. He was questioned walking on the field and not having credential. Usually they don't look at you because you look like a player and they don't bother you. So they thought he was not a player. Step 2, he hit a game winner. Step 3, he stopped by security thinking it was a fan trying to walk out of the player exit. Okay. And he tweeted that from his own personal Twitter, which I think is awesome. Way to capitalize on your growth when you're at
Have you seen that happen to anybody before you've been teammates with?
Yeah, they've like stopped me before too, even though you're being like gear head to toe, because I get it. They're trying to do their job. I don't have a real problem with it. Some guys stand out more than others, right? Sometimes like I'm 6'4", I'm not gargantuan per se. But I get it. They're trying to do their job, trying to keep players safe. I respect it and I'm thankful. But a play, that's tough, man. That's really tough.
The one thing that keeps popping in my head when I just saw that when you told me about it was Evan McPherson at the Super Bowl when he's just like sitting on the bench smiling while the Rihanna concert's going on. Not really similar to that. I don't know why, but that was just the first thing that popped in my head. It's just not belonging, and it's just a kicker.
Yeah. Kickers are people too now. Remember that, Jack. Kickers are people too. Kickers are people too. What else is going on in your world, Jack? Ross Tucker shows starting to crank up.
Yeah, we're starting to kick into the regular season here. Number of shows will go up. It's getting good. We've had some awesome guests on over the last few weeks, and just getting things ready, working on some new stuff, trying to test out some new stuff for us potentially. So I've just been hacking away. Some things you don't know about yet, but I'll keep working.
Good. Thanks for filling me in on everything, Jack. Doing a great job. Check out all our shows, guys. Two Worlds, One League. Our football show is starting to crank up here in a little bit. Obviously, you guys know the Sam Boner show. That is starting to rock and roll. I Sam Bone, Jack. Tats Deli. Okay. That will come out of your training camp. I think it's the best cheesesteak outside of Philly, and it's the farthest place from Philly, probably mileage in Seattle, Washington. Rip that up right on the field again like I did last year. Sam Boner show, Aji's, they're killing it. They're hysterical. The guys just do a great job. Harry and Jason Martinez, Breaking Bats, our baseball show. This is baseball season, and they are humming, and they're in full swing. Kate, Justin, Brian, the team of folks that work on Breaking Bats have done a great job. Jack included on all our shows. What other shows am I missing, Jack? Obviously, our show, the Colin Thompson show. Yeah, we have a lot.
We got our show. We got Sam Boners. We've got Breaking Bats.
Speaks, and you got
Trending Thoughts.
Trending Thoughts with Tori Smith, which will be starting here soon. So we'll be full gear, full swing. Everyone pulling in that direction here. Nice follow through. Jack, get the elbow down or up. And we're ready to roll. So I'm excited for the fall. Got a couple weeks left to training camp. Like I was talking on another show I was on today. Today's Tuesday, August 15th. Training camp's over in 11 days. So really weird. That's weird to think about. And I'm humbled and blessed to be here and be a part of this first-class organization. It's been really one of the better working environments I've been a part of. The place is just spectacular. There's a reason why they graded so well on that NFLPA union thing. Carolina Panthers last year graded really well on the NFLPA union thing as well. So I've been fortunate to play for a lot of great places, but Minnesota has been great. The fans are awesome. We have huge crowds at practice, and I'm excited for joint practice here coming up. So anything from you, Jackie, before we wrap things up?
No, we feel like we touched on all of. I just really wanted you to react to your Mad rankings. That was like kind of the only thing I brought to the table today. I was a little underprepared.
58, man. I'll take it. I'll take whatever. And just so you know, we all get a check from that, folks, by the way, at home. So if you make the team, there's a check coming from Madden. So thank you, Mr. Madden. I appreciate you. And thank you, EA Sports. And you can rank me as a 0 for all I care, as long as that check clears. Everything's excellent. You guys, you go into a game this year, pop in promo code Colin Thompson, COLN THOMPSON for $20 off your tickets, $50 or more. We have some great people that work with us here. Wealth Advisory Services will be picking back up with here soon. I'm excited for them. Shots and Giggles in Key West, Florida. All the guys that have been in our corner here since day one. We've been really blessed. So actions over words. Thank you. We're going to have some more apparel deals coming. So if you're an apparel company out there and you're listening and you want to work with us some way, and maybe you're just a new startup and whatever, we'll find a way to work together and trade some gear for some shout outs. So shout out to actionsofword.com. And guys, I appreciate your support. I'm going to take a nap today, Jack. I'm going to relax, chop it up, recover, and get ready for the rest of the training camp, man. 10, 11 days left. Pretty crazy. So thanks for all you do, Jack. Thank you for everybody at Not For Long Media for all you do to make this possible for me to kind of own and operate this thing as we go. And you guys kill it. Our whole team does. So thank you. And we're going to send it over to Michael Dogbe. Hope you guys enjoy. Jacksonville Jaguars Defensive Lineman. Great dude. Jersey's finest. All right, we got Temple Tough in the building. Legendary Mike Dogbe. What's going on, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
It's great to see you, man. I'm just jacked to have you on. You've always been someone I've admired from afar and near, of course, as teammates and, you know, playing against each other a little bit in the league. But you're in Jacks now, man. You got to be fired up to be in Jacksonville.
Oh, man, it's a special place to be right now. You know, Doug is a great coach, and, you know, it's just a great organization overall. And I'm just excited for the opportunity. As you know, I'm going to come in, I'm going to work hard. So, you know, a lot of young talent on this team, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, you're a vet now, man. Does that sound weird? I know you're excited to be, though.
It's weird, but you get that presence once you get around the guys. You know, you've been around the league for a while, so you know I'm just blessed, man. Going into year 5, you know, I think you were one of the first guys that told me, "Hey, this thing goes by quick, so just take it all in." So you know, I'm blessed, and I'm just happy to be a part of such a great organization, honestly.
Yeah, no, you guys are the Jags have been just really trending up over the last really 5-6 years. I mean, obviously there was a little blip in the radar there, but other than that year, the franchise has been trending up, and then international games and all that. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But the league does fly by, man. It's crazy. I mean, like yesterday, I'm calling your games at Temple, and obviously we played together at Temple, and then I was out of the league, and I'm calling games, and then all of a sudden, you guys your group was drafted, and you guys had a really special group there, and we'll talk a little bit about that too. But your time in Arizona, man, does that just fly by like crazy? Like you're a late round pick, you're trying to make the roster, all of a sudden you're on the roster for 4 years. You kind of set your roots there, and then poof, you're gone. You know, talk about your time in Arizona from when you got drafted, your mindset early on to like your mindset later in your time there.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, I had a great 4 years there. Met a lot of great players, a lot of great people. Draft day for me was a bit different. You know, no combine invite, you know, no Senior Bowl invite. I had a rough junior year, you know, plagued with a bunch of injuries. So I didn't, you know, how important junior year is, you know, that's kind of the year where scouts start to take notice. And for me, it was really just my senior year. You know, I had a bet, you know, on myself and go out there and play. And I was able to do that. You know, I was able to have a tremendous year my senior year. And a lot of scouts, a lot of teams took interest. But now we move forward to the draft with no combine invite, no Senior Bowl. So I had limited opportunities after my senior year to show teams what I can do. And I was blessed enough to, you know, get a spot at the Shrine game. And there I was able to interview with a bunch of teams. I was able to show my athleticism. So, you know, going into draft day, I knew I was going to be a late round guy. Agent was really hearing, you know, day 3, you know, 4 through 7. Obviously, it's one of those things where it comes down to what the team needs and not really the talent anymore. So I was hearing all kinds of things throughout the draft. So, you know, coming into the 7th round, the Cardinals, they kind of was going back and forth with my agent, and they were talking about, hey, if we need a D tackle, Michael's going to be our guy. Interesting enough, that year was kind of the year of the D lineman. You had guys like Max Crosby. You had a lot of guys at Oliver. It was a big draft year for the D line. So teams who drafted a guy in the 1st round weren't really looking for a D lineman until the later rounds. And that kind of happened with my situation. Arizona drafted Zach Gallen in the 3rd round, who's a tremendous player. Mm-hmm. And by the time they felt like they could double dip, they went and grabbed me in the 7th round. And, you know, coming from Temple, I knew that's all I needed. I needed an opportunity, drafted or undrafted. As soon as I got into camp is where I would really show who I was as a player. And, you know, going into my 1st year, man, the league is pretty much cutthroat. You know, I come in as a rookie, and every day it felt like I was getting like a new locker mate, honestly, guys coming in and out. But I just knew that, I came from a great program. As you know, we had Matt Rule. We had a bunch of guys that made it to the league. So in everything I did, I just worked hard. I just tried to outwork, the vets that were there, and that kind of got me to stick around, my first year. And I was a project. I had to put on weight. I had to, learn the game from, a D tackle, a true D tackle's perspective in the league. So by year 2 and 3, I was coming along, and I was really able to build my role as a rotational guy. And I played you a whole bunch, and got a chance to play a lot of guys around the league. And going into year 4, I started to really feel like I was coming into my own. I know how to read backfield sets. I know how to, digest a full NFL playbook, which is quite difficult, as you know. So here I am, year 5, free agency, great situation in Jacksonville. Agent got the call, and I just felt like it was a right place to be at the right time.
Good for you, man. I'm so excited. Now, you went into so much detail there. I appreciate you doing that. There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
There's so many fun cut stories over the years, and I say they're fun now because it worked out okay. I played in the league, and I'm still trying to go, but I'll never forget when I was in Chicago. I remember like people getting cut all the time, and it just felt that way. Like, this guy's cut, this guy's down, this practice player got cut, and you're just looking around like, oh well, not me. I'm good. And we go into a lift the one day. I was on the practice squad at the time, and there's 11 of us in the weight room. And my buddy taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, Nelson Spruce, great, preseason player. He's all over the Rams, Hard Knocks back in the day, XFL, AAF. And he's like, bro, there's 11 guys in here. Somebody's going to get cut. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not cutting anybody. And I walk into my locker, man, and the Grim Reaper was sitting in my locker. I'm like, damn. So John Fox, I went up to talk to John Fox. He brought me up, and he was like, hey, man, I'm just cutting you for 72 hours. We got to make a roster move. I promise you'll come back. And he brought me back. So, that was my first real, obviously when I was with the Giants, I got cut because of emergency appendectomy, but that was just like,
that's just,
that's like,
And people who, haven't been to, the NFL or don't really know how it goes, that's pretty much how it is. They typically pay about 8 to 10 guys who are, your big money guys, and the rest are maybe draft picks. And then you got a bunch of other guys who make up the rest of the team. And for those maybe 20, 30 guys, it's rotational, man, week to week. Injuries happen, guys may not play well one week. So it's a moving, revolving door each and every week. And whether it's practice squad or active, it really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is you're still there. That's what really determines, if you're in the league or not, man, because I've been in situations where, again, they brought me down for 2 days, right? Because we had a bunch of old linemen hurt, and they needed a spot to bring an extra guy who knew how to play center and guard. And by the following week, I'm back up. You know what I mean? So the biggest thing is when you're in training camp and you're looking for a spot, man, you're really looking for a team that could either, if not the 53, possibly that practice squad spot, because there's a 80 to 90% chance you're going to play a major role that year on that team.
No doubt. No, you should bring up some great points. Like, it is a revolving door. Again, Chicago was really early in my career, and it was like my second stop. I remember looking outside and seeing like all these tight ends working out, and I just worked out for the team like 3 weeks before and made it. I'm like, what are all these guys doing here? Like, well, they're trying out. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean they're trying out? I'm here. Don't take my job. And nobody came in. But no, it's really, really unique. It's really crazy, and it's funny. Like, I think like 40% of the league's undrafted.
Yeah,
and business wise too. Like, I bet you were, I think it probably affect you a little bit. If you were undrafted, you would have been a 3-year, 4th-year option guy. Now you're a 4-year, 5th-year option guy.
Yeah. So I was 7th round. Sometimes they say it's better to go undrafted to get picked up in the last 2 rounds. Because you have an opportunity to get a better deal after year 3. So I finished out my rookie contract, and this was the first time where I can really go through free agency and get a better deal per se.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's everything matters as far as your credited seasons. When you get picked up, when you're drafted, everything kind of matters in that sense. And I always say, if you're not a 53-man guy, sometimes in camp, you're not even working for a 53-man spot. You're working just to get on the practice squad. And I've seen situations where guys don't play the first 2 games. They sign on to the active roster, and they're playing deep into playoffs. You know what I mean? So I always don't like using the term whether you're 53 or not, because if you're on a team, you're on a team.
Yeah.
You practice with that team. You go to meetings with that team, and ultimately that team is going to need you down the line.
No doubt. And if you're on the street like I'm right now, like I'm 3 games away from my pension. I've been in different leagues. I've been in practice squads, and those 2 years I played a lot in the league when I was really in. And then last year I was supposed to get my pension. Boom, I got hurt.
Yeah.
But like you could be on the street and be 1 play away from being with a team. And it happens, man. And there's also times where usually you start on punt to start the week again. And I know you've done some special teams, but D lineman, not a ton. But tight ends, yeah, you got to play teams. And I was starting right guard for punt. I played a little left guard, and then I wasn't even active for the game. There's been times where I literally have not practiced all week with the starting unit. I've only taken practice squad reps as an active player and was a starter in the game. So like I think it's funny. And again, I always say, people don't understand, and that's okay. They're fans, and that pays our bills. But
exactly.
But at the end of the day, like it is pure chaos. And I always say this, I want to hear your opinion on this one too. I think the practice squad needs to be at 20. I think it needs a double. There's a little bit more now post-COVID, but like in walkthroughs, you got people doing all this different stuff. You're playing, you've done it. You've done scout team offensive line work, probably. Yeah. Like you're just, which is fine. But like at the end of the day, it's just a weird look. And for the NFL to not have a full roster where you can do things in practice, I think, especially when more body work is involved now and they're watching how many reps you have, like you can't even be out there that long. You're walking through a lot. And I want to curious to hear your opinion, what you think about the roster size.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Especially now that it's 18 weeks and then you still got to go through a whole playoff run. I think that the league can definitely benefit from a 20, man practice squad. It just gives you opportunity to keep those guys who've been with you all throughout camp, who know the playbook, to stick around. I've been in situations where we can only keep maybe 4 safeties and we let a really talented guy go who maybe they can't keep another vet on the practice squad. And he knows the playbook. He can play in the league. He's been playing for a while, and he goes somewhere else. And down the line, maybe one of our safeties gets hurt, and now we got to rely on a young guy who's not as experienced, who hasn't really developed the way they wanted to. So I think it will be tremendous. I think that's something that our NFLPA has to lobby for. And as you know, it's hard to really get anything. But yeah, man, I completely agree. I think it was a step after COVID. I think it's at 16 or 12, something like that.
It's up. I think it may be 14.
14. I think that's a step because it used to be 10?
10. I was on the 10-man ones. I found myself, shit you not, I'm slow. I was playing corner in practice against Allen Robinson, or who was the receiver? Kevin White in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
He can fly. I think I don't know if Kevin was in Arizona.
He was in AZ with me for a little bit.
Yeah, he's battled injuries, man. Great dude. Yeah. Great dude. Yeah. All right, I got to ask you about some of these guys in Arizona before we move to Jacksonville.
Here we go.
Bro, you play with Budda Baker. This guy's different. I mean, different amongst the elite. Obviously super talented and gifted, but he plays so hard. And can you just elaborate on him and like what you saw in practice and what you saw in games consistently from this guy from a leadership standpoint?
I don't think there's enough words to describe how tremendous this guy is, man. I've been around a lot of great players. College, league. I've been around a lot of great guys. But Budda Baker is someone who would die about football, man. I mean, He brings a type of intensity that I haven't seen before. The way he practices, takes care of his body. When he talks, we listen. He's one of those guys who's just a natural leader. It's one of those things where you got it or you don't, and he's got it. He'll go through in a game, battling an injury all week. He'll practice, take every practice rep, go in the game and ball out. Like, he's just a tremendous talent, man. Tough as they come. Not the biggest, not the fastest, but he's a football player. And I was just lucky enough to be around him for 4 years. Nicest guy in the world. He truly cares about the game. I can say that for him, it's nothing else but football, and that's special, honestly.
Yeah. And what Mike's saying there, nothing else but football. Like, that's hard to do as a professional. You're putting, food on the plate for your family, your immediate family, maybe extended family, friends. You got other businesses. There's a lot to it. It's a short-lived league. So while you're in it, you got to maximize everything in your life. I give no judgment to any player. I mean, I have a media company, right? You got to be mobile and do different things or whatever, especially if you're in and out of the league. But this guy Buddha, man, there's guys that pop on film, of course.
Yeah.
But that guy is on a different level, I think, than really anybody in the league when it comes to effort and intensity and the Pro Bowl level. Now, obviously, Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer, you play with J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt came over 2 years ago or last year?
2 years ago. So I played with him for 2 good seasons.
What's that guy like, man? I mean, listen, at one point in time, he was on top of the football mountain.
Yeah.
And being arguably one of the best players of all time for that whatever that 6-year stretch was in Houston. I mean, he was catching touchdowns. He was sacking quarterbacks. He is a freak. But talk about the older version of JJ you played with.
Great guy, nicest guy in the world, man. Again, kind of like Buddha, natural leader. I always joke around with him, man. He just always knows what to say. But he's an easy guy to root for, man. I would say this. I think he's 33, 34 years old. Each and every play, man, he's still running to the ball. He doesn't want you to feel bad for him because he's older. He doesn't want you to feel bad for him because he went through a certain amount of injuries. He'll take every practice rep like it's his last, He'll lift. I've never seen a guy attack a weight room, and I'm a big weight room guy. I love it. It's good for the body. This guy is the first one in there, and he's going to attack the weight room like no one you ever seen before. He just loved the process. You always saw him going about the process the right way. From the way he was eating, taking care of his body, weight room practice. And when it came to Sunday, he just put on a show. As old as he was, man. And he's still a young guy, but, football terms, he still had like a 12-sack season his last year in the league. You know what I mean? And I've always asked him, man, like, what about you? What about your brothers that you guys just always have this grind mentality? And it was just the way they were raised, man. They were just wired that way, and they don't know any other way in how to compete in sports. So he was just a tremendous guy to learn from. A lot of things I would, try to, incorporate in what I do. And to this day, man, I could always shoot him a text, ask him a question, and he'll answer right away. So, he's a tremendous guy to know.
What a legend, man. What a legend in the business, and just an absolute, right, just menace. And it brings us some great points. I want you to touch on the weight room because, and we'll get into the Jacksonville stuff and kind of what you've been up to this summer. But I mean, Mike is one of the strongest players I ever played with, if not the strongest. You work your ass off, though. Like, there's guys that are strong, that are freaky, and you're freaky too. Don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you're in there. When I was out of the league, you and I are, I come in before. I'm like, what's Mike doing in here? And Feely's like, well, he's rolling out. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's bringing guys along with him. He's just the man. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I know I love playing with Mike, but I saw a younger version, and we had all these mooses, as you know, strong wise. These guys were unreal in those teams at Temple with Jeremy and all those guys there. But just go into your process weight room wise. I mean, you give us a little glimpse of what you're doing this offseason. Like, what are you doing to add more volume for training camp? What are you doing to work on position drills? What are you doing strength wise right now? Because for a guy like you, like, are you trying to get much stronger? Are you just trying to make sure you're hitting your numbers and moving along the line? Explain to our listeners how you go about your business.
Yeah, kind of like what you said, man. For me, I've gotten to a point really in my career, around year 2, 3, where I'm probably gonna be as strong as ever. I don't think I have room. I kind of maximized everything. So I'm really at a point where I'm just taking care of my body. I'm hitting numbers like you said. I'm learning different ways to challenge my body. And more so now than ever, mobility and flexibility and putting good things into my body. The way I train now is all explosive movement, and things that pertain more so to my position. Um, I trained over at Exos during this off season a little bit while I was still in AZ during free agency. And again, it's a lot of explosive movements. I would hit my numbers on bench, deadlift. But again, back to the mobility, because as you know, man, your body is your money. Once you can't move a certain way, they'll just go get a younger guy who can do it better. So I still consider myself a young guy. I'm 27,
Oh
so
yeah.
just taking care of the joints, taking care of the body, and yeah, eating right. Doing what I have to do to make sure I'm ready to go on the field.
No doubt. And hydrating Jacks, man. I was a Gator,
Man.
as you know. Whoo, doggy is
Oh,
different down there.
oh man, it's the humidity. See, AZ. Everybody asks me this question, man. How is Arizona to Jacksonville? To me, hot is hot, but when you come to Jacksonville, the humidity, man, it's unreal. Like if you don't hydrate well the day before, you probably won't make it through a practice the next day. So I'm making sure I'm eating my carbs, getting all the calories in, and I'm hydrating. I try to get at least 1 to 2 gallons in a day. If I know I'm going to be outside, if I know I'm going to be, in the heat, because it's no joke, man. They take that very serious here.
No doubt. I remember in Gainesville, I would unbuckle my pads between reps. Literally, block the play. I would pop my pads off real quick, boom, and just walk back to the huddle and just let my rib cage open up because it was like nothing. Guys are wearing visors. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I've worn visors before because I got poked in the eyes, and that's during the COVID year. That was a whole nother thing. But man, it is hot down there now. There's a lot to be excited about Jacksonville. You got the beach, you got great weather, and then but for me, it'd be the no state income tax. Are you excited about that or what?
Yeah, oh man, definitely. Oh man, they got us with Texas and AZ, but I'm happy about that.
You're playing in Houston, no state income tax.
Yeah. So a little more change in my pocket.
No doubt. Now, what do the guys say about playing over in London tax wise? You get whacked for that pretty good?
We played in Mexico
Okay.
in AZ last season, so I know there's something like an entertainment tax where you got to pay taxes because you play over there in Mexico, and then you got to pay AZ tax. So I'm not sure how it works, but we play there for 2 weeks in a row, which is interesting. I think they're gonna have us down there, get adjusted, and play Atlanta, and then we play Buffalo. So it should be. We'll see how that works out. But I love doing those kind of things because it changes your environment. The fans out there, they don't know what they're watching, but they go crazy anyways. So it's fun. It's fun for the players and the fans.
Have you played there before? This would be your first year. I guess you played Mexico, you said. But
Yeah, played in Mexico, and that was an unreal experience. So this will be my first time going out to London.
now, did you guys elevation wise? Did you go? It's all teams go to Denver and then go play in Mexico. Did you guys do that, or you stayed in Arizona?
Well, San Fran, who we played, they went to Denver. What we did a lot of oxygen training.
Okay.
So they had bikes, and they had like these things where we can kind of like elevate our oxygen while we were riding on bikes. So we just did that. I think Cliff just wanted to stay out in AZ, which made sense. But I know San Fran, they went out to Denver and they practiced all week.
Did you feel it? Or, I felt it when we played practice in Denver before. You feel like during warm-ups, you're like, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, you feel it. I mean, coming in from Walmart, everybody's running over to the oxygen tank just to get a couple of breaths in. I mean, it was rough. And I think if we could have done it again, maybe we would have went and trained out in Denver. Because San Fran, man, they were rolling.
Were they?
Their offense was coming up and down the field, and we were dying. But it's one of those things where you just got to find. You got to. It hasn't been done before too many times, so I think we were in a point where we're just kind of finding what works. So I'm sure if they go again, they'll definitely go out to Denver or something.
Is that wide zone offense, that Shanahan offense that, the Rams run, Miami runs, a lot of teams run it. A lot of teams try to run it, but they're not all committed like the Rams, Miami, the Niners are. Wide zone, outside zone, excuse me. Is that the biggest pain in the ass to play against for you inside?
Oh man, you got so many different blocking schemes. I mean, and the thing about San Fran, people don't understand is they got McCaffrey now, and they got DUVAL. You don't know what kind of formation they're in, so that also plays tricks with you. And I just think the whole line, they may not be the biggest or the strongest, but the scheme and how they block is so tricky. So to prepare for that, is very, very tough.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, they're running outside zone play, then they're going to run outside zone play action, then they're running power, then it's a power pop pass, then they'll run the same play over and over again too. Like, that's what I think.
Oh, yeah, until you stop it.
Until you stop it. They firmly believe in that. And a lot of teams don't do that, right? They're like, all right, here's our third down call. Here's this. Like, they'll just run what they run. And
exactly.
I watched the first half of every one of their games, pretty much minimally every week as a part of my prep for the next week, because I like the way their tight ends play. Obviously, Kittle's really good.
Yeah, Kittle's nice.
But they do a lot of stuff, right? The play action and all that. You can always take something out of it from a tight end. So I digress. All right, Jax. So, I mean, I'm just you and I have been buddies for a while now. I'm so happy for you. And it's a great place. The fans down there are fun. DUVAL, like I said, I was a Gator. I used to go to the Florida-Georgia game. If you get a chance to go to that for somehow, some way, you have a bye week, go to that game, Mike. You'll have a good time. And largest cocktail party in the world. It's a good time. Now, what's it like there in Jax? I know you speak really highly of Doug Peterson and everything they have going on down there.
I think he has a great culture in place, man. Coming from AZ, it just wasn't like that for many reasons. We kind of had a lot of young guys and then a lot of older guys on the other end. Guys like Cole McCoy, JJ, a lot of guys that were just older who have been in it. So it's tough to have young guys who've never been in a system. But with Doug, man, he's put in a culture where, man, we're going to come in and work. We're going to be the team that's most in shape, and we're going to find ways to win. He just knows how to operate. And obviously being in Philly, they won a Super Bowl, and it's no wonder why they were able to accomplish that, man. He's just a, guy who's played in the league. He knows what we deal with on a daily basis, so he caters to that. And yeah, man, I have the utmost respect for Coach Peterson and his staff. A lot of former players on his staff, which is awesome. And it's just, again, it's a lot of excitement in the city. So it encourages you to come to work each day and grind, because these fans, they want to see us win games, and we want to make it to the big one.
You guys are knocking on the door last year. Obviously, you weren't there in Jax yet, but have you watched any of this quarterback series? I've learned. I'm like relearning what happened in the league last year with the Jacksonville and Mahomes with the ankle. And have you watched any of the quarterback series?
Yeah, so I watched, I think, the first 2 episodes, and it's kind of awesome how they did it. They kind of got a different perspective from different types of quarterbacks. With Mariota, who kind of was like a fringe guy of starting.
Yep.
Then Kirk Cousins, who's been in the league for a very long time. And then you got Mahomes, who's probably the hottest quarterback in the league right now. So kind of like how they did that whole thing. But it's just interesting, man. I always say, man, quarterback is a different type of position that you got to be ready for. And to see how those guys operate, man, it's awesome to watch.
Let's see. You got some Owls on your team here. Brandon McManus comes over.
Yep.
Him and I grew up in the same area, bro. How freaky is Roy Robertson Harris? Now, I know you guys are going to be competing with each other against each other. Bro, I played with him in Chicago, and he was on a D line with let me see. It was Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack. I always get it. Eddie Goldman. Like, they were loaded. He was like the unknown guy, and now he's obviously doing really well. But that dude I always thought he was freaky. 6'5", 290. It's a beast.
Yeah, no, he's freakish and very athletic D lineman. I'm just excited to be on the same field as him, man. He's a great player.
Yeah, you got the sheriff. You guys
Yeah.
got a fun roster, man. I was really Dan Arnold's in Philly now. You would have loved him. And
Oh, I was with Dan and AZ.
AZ, he's the
He's
man,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
DA is a great guy, and then Evan Ingram's the man. All right, so as we wrap things up, man, what have you been doing traveling wise? I know you like to travel, get around a little bit, do different things, see the world a little bit. What have you been up to?
This off season, so I got engaged to my
Congrats, man.
long-term girlfriend, now fiance. So we kind of we did some last minute exploring in AZ as we was getting to wrapping things up there. And then we spent some time back east up in Jersey and PA. Spent some time in Philly. But we thought it was important just to be around family. Her brother just had a daughter, so good to be around family and friends. And I've just been, again, grinding. This is an important year for me, for us, really. And just excited about the opportunity I have, and I've just been working hard at it.
No doubt, man. Now, as we wrap things up, Mike's podcast will come out sometime during training camp, but we're looking at Monday, July 17th right now. When you report, 25th?
25th, yep.
So what's this week look like? This is your last full week of training. What type of time you taking off? Like, I always found this juggle to be the hardest. Right now, I'm like not with the team, so I'm just training right through it. And if I end up with the team, I end up with a team. But this was always interesting. It's like I need to make sure I'm rested, but also like I'm not rusty either. I always found that a struggle. What's your plan here for the next really week? You report next Tuesday.
So I hit it hard today with some conditioning. I'll get a massage twice this week, one on Wednesday and then one on Saturday, stretching every day like I do. But I'll just ease into it. I'll be running tempos throughout the week, couple sprints, nothing too crazy. Don't want to get the soreness in there yet. And just making sure I get a good sleep schedule. Because as you know, once things get started, man, you don't know how much sleep you'll get. So just want to make sure I'm feeling good. I'm flexible, I'm mobile, so I can really attack the first week. And as you know, from there, it's just a grind.
Yeah, it is. You getting a vet day this year or what?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me grab my charger. I think my phone is about to die, but let me grab a charger.
You're good. We're good. I love it.
All right, here we go.
And we'll wrap up here soon. We'll wrap up here soon anyways. But so
vet day, we'll see, man.
You got no vet day this year?
I don't know. I think that's more so on the side of I think that's more so on the side of 8 years and up.
I know, man. Isn't that crazy? That would be nice though. I wouldn't even know what to do. Like if I got tapped on the shoulder and they're like, "Hey, you got a vet day today," I'd be like, "I don't deserve it."
That'd be awesome. But I think I got a couple more years to go, which is all right with me. So.
Yeah, you do. Listen, Mike, I appreciate you coming on, man. When to get you before training camp, before the grind, we'll be highlighting you. And again, I can't thank you enough for coming on, man. Good luck this year.
All right, anytime, man. And, wishing you all the best, man. I appreciate you, brother.